ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to the Flatout Racing Network's coverage of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series, Season 59, race number 7, as we're getting ready to go racing at the high banks of Talladega Superspeedway for the 4th time this season. Well, we had a trend going, 5 different races with 5 different drivers going to victory lane. Last week was broken. Jeremy Jeffries comes in tonight as the only driver with multiple wins on the season, as drivers are definitely now at this point making preparations for the playoffs, which will be in 3 weeks' time after the conclusion of tonight's race. I'm Seth Cole alongside of Michael Norman, and Michael, with that being said, you got to look in the direction of some of these other drivers that have formerly gone to victory lane, like Chuck McClure, Grant Wesley, Tim Nofsker. We've seen them almost consistently up inside the top 5, top 10 all season long. The gauntlet's been thrown down by Jeremy Jeffries. Do these drivers rise up to the occasion, match him with a second win in the season, or do we have to look somewhere elsewhere in the field for another first-time winner in season 59?
Honestly, it's hard to answer that question, Seth, because you and I both know that every race is different. Every time they come here, it's a different race. So, yeah, they're up in the top 10, or not top 5, but you never know what's going to happen. It's hard to pick a winner out of this field because anybody who's got a car that's undamaged has a shot at winning this race if you put your truck in the right place at the right time. So, honestly, Seth, I can't tell you. It's one of those things that you just, it's a crapshoot.
Our first few races to start the season, we had quite a number of yellows. There wasn't a whole lot of pit strategy that went on as far as green flag pit stops, but the last couple of races, we've seen some long green flag runs and we've seen some green flag pit stops. Do we kind of continue to trend that way as we get closer to the end of the season? Is that something that drivers kind of have to have as their mentality here as soon as the green flag drops? Get yourself prepared for that first round of green flag pit stops? Or as we get close to the end of the season, do drivers get a little bit more anxious, a little bit more antsy with their moves, and you've got to be more prepared for the big one earlier on?
I mean, from the trends that we've seen, I don't think, unless it was one of the races where I wasn't here, we haven't really had a round of green flag pit stops. Most of the pit stops for this season have come under the yellow flag. So, I mean, you always want to kind of get a mental preparation as to how far you think you can go on fuel, and then try to formulate a plan with some friends if you've got any out there. But, you also want to prepare for the big one. You don't ever really want to be towards the middle of the pack. But Seth, we've seen stuff happen not just in the middle of the pack, but like literally at the front of the field.
Absolutely have. It'll be interesting to see what happens tonight. So we've got 40 trucks that are taking the green flag here tonight. I don't think we've had a field less than 40 trucks this season. So big fields, lots of points on the table down this home stretch. It's John Godfrey lining up behind the beautiful Flatout Racing Network pace truck painted by Bernie Mobbs. He's going to have Doug Cady to his outside. Billy Elliser and Cy Jones, they're in row number 2. Ron Hagelin and Wayne Pribnow in row 3. Row 4 is going to find Bernie Mobbs and Jessica Shelton, then Glenn Harris and Dante Rickey. They're going to complete the top 10. 11th place will be Greg Palmer, Nathan Balser in 12th, Craig Hagley in 13th, Andrew Aul making his first start on the season. He's going to roll off in 14th. Bob Seminara is going to complete the top 15 with JT Mayhew to his outside in row number 6. Row 7 is going to find, that was in row number 8 rather. Row 9 is going to find Wiley Coate and Dave Melson. Top 20 completed by Ken Roberts and Robbie Nisus. Jeff Crivello and Josh Metallic, they're back in row 11. Row 12 with Rodney Sullins, a new look on that 38. Joe DeSpirito to his outside. Row 13 finds Chuck McClure and Bob Dixon. Brian Ronson and Brian Schilling, they're going to be in row 14. The top 30 completed by Mike Mangialardi and Tim Nofsker. Back in row 16 is Jeremy Jeffries, 2-time winner. He's alongside of Donnie Garrett. Mark Paglia, he shares row number 17 with Milt Surratt. Richard Martin, he's back with Terry Bombard in row 18. Row 19 is going to be Kelly Causey, one of our former winners, and Jason Scheck. And then Grant Wesley will start shotgun on the field in the 39th position. Green flag set to come out here for 66 laps of racing. Race number 7 is underway at Talladega. John Godfrey, limited number of starts this season. 42nd in points. Doug Cady, same situation for him. 37th in points, both getting the benefit of the random qualifying draw as Godfrey will tuck up in front of the 7. And we got a caution. Caution's already out.
84 and the 49.
84 of Dante Ricky started pretty decently up in the field, and there is the 49 of Andrew Allen. He's already done.
Oh my lord. That was a big time flipping accident there.
Andrew Allen,
I can't even
his
say what happened.
season
It just
debut,
looked
doesn't
like,
even complete a lap.
I don't know if maybe the 49 blew a gear, but he just, the 84 of Dante Ricky just ran into the back of him and turned them both into the wall.
I have to go back and look. Dante Ricky was scheduled to roll off from 10th.
Oh, he started at the rear.
Did he drop? I was just going to ask, did he start at the rear of the field? Is that why he would have been back in that vicinity? Take a look at what happened. First caution of the day. We didn't even get half a lap in under green flag conditions. The leaders were just entering into turn number 2. These were the last 2 cars on the grid. Billy Ellis are in the 26 ahead of Andrew All. And wow.
I don't know what happened.
I don't either.
What could have even caused that, but
one thing we know is apparently goldfish and mug root beer are not a good combination. Take another look at this. Let's try. I'm gonna try and see if I can focus on the speed telemetry on the 49. See if he did miss a shift potentially. Oh! So it looked like, Michael, I'm not 100% certain about this because our telemetry, again, is not exactly 100% accurate in showing what gear these drivers are in. But at the moment that Dante gets into the right rear of Andrew All is in neutral.
I could have hit a wrong button when shifting.
Could have downshifted into neutral there. You had 2 trucks flipping on the very first lap. Very first corner on your bingo card. You're the big winner because that is the reason for our first caution of the evening. There's another look at it going into the corner, and watch the air these 2 get. Dante completely clears the catch fence there, and like Dante is out of the race. Andrew All, we saw his truck disappear. Our scoring is not showing him as retired, but he is not on the racetrack, so he is definitely out of the race.
I was saying, be sure to hit your like button just to make sure. But yeah, for me, it shows him as 1 lap down.
Yeah, our scoring is going to show him not as a DNF, but he is currently at this point not on the racetrack. So it looks like both drivers involved will not reach the conclusion. Let me double check on Dante Ricky's point situation coming into this one. He was 38th in points. There's a couple of drivers that, coming into this race, the criteria is you need to be inside the top 20 in the points with a victory to get a playoff position. You don't necessarily have to be up inside of the top 12 in points if you have that trip to victory lane. There's a list that we are now, with 3 races remaining here in the regular season, going to be able to compile in the must-win situation. One of them would have been Dante Ricky. I think you'd add Keith Bynum, Richard Martin, Doug Cady, maybe Mark Paglia into that list, Bobby Farrell, I think, Bob Dixon. These are drivers that they absolutely need to find victory lane because, yes, these are big fields and there's a lot of points on the table. The odd thing is that it seems like week after week, a lot of the drivers that are around each other in points finish around each other in the finishing results. So there aren't a whole lot of leaps and bounds that take place in the point standings unless you finish up inside of the top 3, top 5, something like that.
Yep, which is why making every race is very important.
Yes. And a lot of those drivers that I just listed off, to your point, have not made every start this season. They've made a few starts here and there. So, yeah, definitely the consistency of taking the green flag every single week, very important towards at least even giving yourself a shot of getting into the postseason. We've got the lights still on atop the Flatout Racing Network Chevy Silverado pace truck. So we're going to quickly give you an update on the bracket series coming into tonight. We are now into round 3, the quarterfinals, if you will. We'll be keeping an eye on the following battles. Grant Wesley, the number 1 seed, taking on Chuck McClure here tonight. Two-time winner Jeremy Jeffries is against Bernie Mobbs. That's the 4 and 5 seed actually going up against each other this late in the going. And we got a wreck in the back here. Just saw Shelton, Wiley Coate, and Nate Balser going around. Now Mike Mangialardi is spun. Tim Knofsker is spun. What is going on?
What the heck just happened? Apologies
I don't know.
I don't know what just happened.
I don't know if there was a checkup or what just happened. I saw the 20 and the 079 first going around.
Oh, it was the 79. 79 just got in the back of Shelton. Shelton was just slowing up, just catching the rest of the field. And the 79, I guess, just wasn't paying attention.
They can get organized. I think they could probably have the 1 to green this next time by, since the lights were already on.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened there.
Everybody trying to get their spots back here.
That was crazy.
Fortunately, it didn't look like anybody got major damage, just like 3 or 4 trucks spinning. And it was on the back straightaway too, a lot of space where you have a lot of room before you would hit a wall. We've got some diving, couple of drivers diving onto pit road late. Oh, McClure was one. Was that Seminary? I think was another. Quickly run back down the remainder of the drivers that are battling in the bracket series tonight. Joe DeSpirito is taking on Dave Melson, and then Brian Schillings taking on Jessica Shelton, who we saw just have that spin on the back straightaway. Let's see if that incident on the backstretch is going to add another lap of caution on or not. Nope, it is going to be lights out, so we will go back green on lap 6 of 66. And wow, look at the small amount of trucks that we've got here. A lot of drivers apparently dove to pit lane at 1 degree to top off the fuel tank.
Yeah, they did. That was just really crazy.
The way they'll be lining up for this restart, John Godfrey, the pole sitter, will be leading us back. Doug Cady in second. Not a whole lot changed up amongst the top 6 or so. Bernie Mobbs will be 3rd, Cy Jones 4th, Glenn Harris 5th, and Wade Primnell will be 6th. Greg Palmer will be 7th. Then JT Mayhew, Wiley Coate, and Robbie Nisus it's showing as the top 10 when they cross the start-finish line. 37 trucks still remain, all 37 on the lead lap. 2 drivers out of the race if you're just joining us. Caution on the first lap, first corner. 2 trucks up and into the catch fence. Andrew All and Dante Ricky both have DNF from the race, all in his debut this season. 38th, Dante Ricky will get credited for 39th. Well, we saw John Godfrey and Doug Cady. They were able to kind of work together with a system that got the 7-Eleven up to the middle line through turn number 2. We'll see if they work that out again here on this upcoming restart. John Godfrey with that NASCAR Hall of Fame sponsorship on his Chevrolet Silverado and the Napa Cadillac Escalade to his outside. That grill still throws me off every time I see it. I kind of blank for a minute of what is that manufacturer, and then I remember that we have a Cadillac in the field here every week.
Yep.
Through the long tri-oval, the agonizing tri-oval sometimes if you're down there in one of these trucks, just waiting on that flagman to wave the green. As John Godfrey patiently waiting on the flagman. He's got the flag in his hand, and it is back in the air. We're back underway here at Talladega. So we got that one early caution out of the way. Let's see now if we can settle into a long green flag run here at Dega.
And we got the 007 up top, but with the 7 behind it.
Could have the 07 out there, but he's up here in the booth. That time, John Godfrey stays to the bottom and is going to have Bernie Mobbs pushing him. There's that 7 alliance up in the top there with Cady and Cy Jones trying to make something happen. Just got a report. We were kind of perplexed at what happened there with that incident on the back straightaway. Apparently, the 20 of Jessica Shelton had a pop-up take place and tapped the game out. So that is what happened. I believe all drivers involved there. No damage, going to continue on and be good to go. Just going to lose some track position as That was a dead heat at the line. Who got it? Scoring says Godfrey. I want to see what scoring said for an interval there when they crossed the start-finish line.
Let's see, 0.003.
Wow. Imagine if that had been the finish. Free wide, I'm seeing some back there. Nofsker. It's Mark Pagley up there. Got some Mike Mangialardi also jumping up there to that third lane. Got about half dozen trucks up there trying to make something happen. As Doug Cady forges to the lead, clear off of turn number 4 with the help from Cy Jones and Wayne Pribnow. Inside line starting to lose some ground. Here comes JT Mayhew in the 338 up there on that outside line. JT Mayhew was a driver last couple of weeks that has not had the best of luck. He was up as high as, I believe it was 4th in the point standings. He comes into this race still 4th in points, but he's lost ground to the top 3 of Wesley, Schilling, and Jeffries. A big reason for that is because our top 3 in the points were our top 3 finishers last week at BSR.
Yep, that's what happens. There's just no room for error.
Wesley still the points leader. 25 points over Brian Schilling, and then 43 points back to 2-time winner Jeremy Jeffries. So I'm going to be really interested to watch that one truck here tonight because he's the only one coming into this race with multiple wins on the season. He's kind of got the green light to be as aggressive as he wants to here this evening. He's going to more than likely, with 3 races remaining, be in the top 20 in the point standings. Not necessarily locked up the number 1 seed yet because the regular season champ, I believe, gets 15 playoff points paid out. So there is still the possibility that whoever wins that regular season championship could be above Jeremy Jeffries once everything is reformatted playoff-wise. But yeah, when I talked with him last week, he said, yeah, we're going to go out there and we're going to try and see if we can get another 3 victories before the end of the season. As of right now, Jeremy Jeffries is running back in the 25th position, but don't think he's going to stay there long.
Nope, not at all. Look at these drivers moving from the low to the top lane.
Robbie Nisus leading that inside line now with Joe DeSpirito. And there you see John Godfrey. He was leading the inside line, faded back, leading that bottom lane, and now he is 3rd on the inside line around the 7th position. I don't know if there was a little contact right there, maybe a slight bad bump, Bernie Mobbs to JT Mayhew, but they almost looked like they were going to take it 3 going into turn 3, think better of it. Greg Palmer gets the apron a little bit there with the left sides, and there's the 17 of Chuck McClure. Didn't take the 17 very long to start making his way back up to the front. Remember, he was one of a number of drivers at the 1 to green that ducked onto pit road to top off the fuel tank, so he gave up a lot of track position. He's gaining it back here on this run as look at the push on the bottom. Joe DeSpirito going to get Robbie Nisus at least somewhat clear of the center of Doug Kay. He's going to get him to the front.
Yep, in the lane backed out, or lost a lot of momentum when that 3rd lane happened. Ooh, a lot of blocking.
No!
A lot of blocking.
Katie, yeah, throwing the block there on Mike Mangialardi, hits the wall for his troubles. That stacks everybody up. This is not looking all that safe if you're in the middle of these 3 wide situations. A lot of movement going on here. Nice is now shuffled to the middle. Cy Jones behind him. Top side, that is Doug Cady leading Mike Mangialardi and Tim Nofsker as the top 5 have gotten themselves clear on the inside line. DeSpirito, Godfrey, Greg Palmer, Chuck McClure, and Wiley Coate. Now add 6th place Bob Dixon into that list. But we're going to drop back here to this 3 wide because this is where all the action's happening in the vicinity of Bernie Mobbs, Bob Seminara, Josh Metallic's in the middle of that, Craig Hagley in the 32. We're 3 wide, easy for me to say, about 6-7 rows deep right now.
3 ride.
Someone might take a ride here in just a moment.
Yeah, for real. The way these cars are going.
Like they got it pretty well organized back there. We'll jump back up to a battle for around the 6th position. Robbie Nisus on the outside of Bob Dixon. Dodge versus Toyota. Looks like that middle line's gotten organized again. They're starting to make some momentum. Nice is clear of the 143, almost here off of turn 2, trying to get alongside of Wiley Coat. Like Mangialardi. Whoa, little contact there. Greg Palmer out of shape, hangs on to it. It looks like, actually Wayne Pribb now has ducked down to the middle line. JT Mayhew, Doug Cady, and Mike Mangialardi have as well. So now the third lane is losing momentum. As look at this. They see that second line coming, do the top 4. McClure jumps up, tries to put the block on Nisus, can't do it. Nisus is to his right rear.
Try to keep it going and then back up. They're trying to make a third lane again back there.
Really amazing. We're only 14 laps into this race, and we're seeing a lot of blocks being thrown right now up at the front, as if we were at 10 laps to go.
And I'm sure there's a lot of angry drivers out there because of it. Uh-oh, they're bumping and banging back there for that 3 wide.
They're almost 4 wide there. Bernie Mobbs gonna get to the inside of Balser. Mangialardi gonna be able to find a space in front of Grant Wesley. That could have been treacherous there through 3 and 4. Got one car warping side to side up there, Bob Dixon. Remember I said Jeremy Jeffries wasn't going to be back around the 20th position very long? He was 12th place last time by. I think this time by he's going to cross inside of the top 10. He's going to look to the inside of Donnie Garrett, 3 wide going into turn number 1.
Not a lot of help,
contact! Wiley Coat to Robbie Nisus.
Oh, there they go, wreck, big wreck.
Oh, there they go. Whoa, Mark Paglia. A lot of air caught by the Texaco machine. And there's a lot of trucks in this one. Ken Roberts, I believe that's Milt Surratt rather, in the 80 behind the 28. Got a bunch of trucks that spun down to the inside. Roberts was in that. Jeff Crivello, Grant Wesley, Ron Hagelin, Billy Elliser. Mark Paglia caught some serious air, but landed back on all 4 wheels as Joe DeSpirito leads us back to our second caution of the day.
Yep, a lot of cars hitting the wall there. Wow, that 28 almost flipped over.
Colors on that car, it reminds me so much of Joker from Batman. Go back and see what happened on the back straightaway. We were looking in the wrong area where we thought maybe there was going to be an incident with contact between Wiley Coat and Robbie Nisus.
Well, there was
further back was where the contact actually took place.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what car it was, but someone was hit up in from the bottom line from the middle line. Those 2 trucks collided, sending one truck up into the high lane, and then just melee ensued after that.
That would be Mike Mangialardi, was that truck on the bottom, pushing up into Nate Balser, and nowhere for Mark Paglia to be able to go. The air that 28 caught and didn't go over is amazing. Brian Schilling was back behind that, had to slow up to avoid. Dave Melson as well. Let's take a look at another angle and see about those trucks, or about half dozen trucks that spun down to the inside wall, or towards the inside wall. We actually had, I think, a follow-up wreck with Grant Wesley and Glenn Harris, which I think was in reaction to what had happened up ahead with the 29 and the 029, I should say, and the 079. Here it was. Watches the contacts made right there. Oh no, Grant actually got run out of room by Jeff Crivello and then sent up into Glenn Harris. Here's where Milt Surratt's involved. Craig Hagley was sent for a spin, and there you see all those trucks. There's Ken Roberts, there's Billy Elliser, Dave Melson, and Ron Hagelin, all involved in that one. I'll take a look and see, did anybody get a good view of Mark Paglia's blowover? Most everybody was facing the wrong direction. Maybe Josh Metallic might be able to give us a good view of this blowover. Oh yeah, he can.
Perhaps, yeah.
Look at this. On board with the Geico machine. Look at that nose grind. Tony Hawk would be proud. Metallic got through without any damage. Of course, if he had gotten damage, he would have been to file a Geico insurance claim, but doesn't have to yet.
Of course you'd go there.
Caution out for the second time here tonight at Talladega. Should be getting back green somewhere in the lap 20 range, I should think. We had most everybody come to pit road here under this yellow flag. A couple of drivers staying out, getting some laps led, including the 54 of Robbie Nysa. So while we've got the opportunity here under this, our second caution of the evening, let's take a commercial break here and go side by side with a word from our sponsor, Ultimate Garage Floors. The following presentation of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series on the Flatout Racing Network is brought to you by Ultimate Garage Floors. Ultimate Garage Floors is very active in the garage remodeling community, staying current with the latest technologies and custom configurations so that we can bring you the highest quality installations. As a Northern Virginia Exposy flooring installer, we focus on garages and commercial flooring to perfect our craft and bring you high results. In a space that gets as much wear and tear as your garage, you want to be able to trust that the cabinets and flooring we install are ready to withstand against high traffic and regular use. That is why we include a lifetime warranty with our services so that you know we stand behind the quality of our work. To get started with a free consultation, call us at 540-931-9006 or visit us on the web at ultimategaragefloorsva.net. That's ultimategaragefloorsva.net. Lights out atop the pace truck. We're getting ready to go back green. Lap 20 will go on the board, and Chuck McClure, the new race leader. Joe DeSpirito will be to his outside in second, then John Godfrey, Greg Palmer, and Jeremy Jeffries. That's going to be the top five.
Couple cars dove into pit road with one to go, and if they can run about 19 laps on fuel, so we're looking at about 38 to the next pit stop, and then
we're going green just about at the point if we had been green since the start of the race when drivers would have been making the first dives onto pit lane. We're about maybe a lap and a half short of where we would have been if these drivers would have made their first pit stop under green flag conditions.
So they could probably two-stop it from here if we stay
Yes.
green.
Question is, when's that final pit stop going to be? Maybe
True.
the top 5. Wiley Coates going to be 6th. Bob Dixon 7th. Donnie Garrett 8th. And the top 10 will be completed by Tim Knopfsker and Bob Seminara. We did have one other driver out of the race that we didn't document, but it was actually before that second caution flew. Jason Scheck, about 7 laps ago, brought the 0-2 to pit lane and retired. Will get credited for the 37th position. 36 trucks remaining, all 36 on the lead lap at this point in time. It's just the gentleman Jack Daniels Chevrolet Silverado of Chuck McClure getting us back under the green at Talladega. Inside line, good run there through 1 and 2. Let's see if McClure or Godfrey jump up to that middle line down the back straightaway. Yep, they're both going to. Jeremy Jeffries will now be the lead truck on the inside line with Bob Dixon, but you can just see that momentum surge down the back straightaway in that second line.
Yeah, the outside lane gets a heck of a run, especially when put up. And Jeremy Jeffries, could this guy be a 3-time winner and win 2 in a row?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to remember back. The last driver that won 3 races in a single season. Yeah, I know. Remembering is hard for me, let alone anything else. Try and see if I can find the last driver that had 3 wins in a single season. I don't think we had one last year. Yeah, actually we did. Yeah, we did. Grant Wesley was a 3-time winner last season. And for those that may or may not remember, Grant Wesley ended up winning the championship, so could mean some good things there for Jeremy Jeffries if he's able to get a 3rd win. And this is, if I recall correctly, at least of the series that are currently running, this is the only RTG series that Jeremy Jeffries does not have a championship in. He's got a championship in the Aero 88 series on Wednesday nights. He's got a championship in the Bare Bones Racing series on Monday nights. But he has never hoisted the championship trophy here in the Tally Challenge. It's the one brass ring that he's still lacking. Got a couple of trucks that have appeared to potentially lose the draft. Mike Mangialardi and Jeff Crivello. Crivello was involved in the last caution, though it didn't really look like he took that hard of an impact. Mangialardi, don't think he was involved in that wreck, but I don't know why either one of them might be losing the draft at this point in time. Certainly I don't think via damage. Yeah, Crivello has definitely lost touch with the lead group. He's now about 10 truck lengths behind the next highest running truck, which I believe is the 8 of Glenn Harris. Gonna say,
yeah,
pretty orderly.
You can see the middle, how just how the middle lane's going. All the top 4 kind of giving that little slight breakaway there. But you know, for these guys, I've driving 3 wide for 1 lap is stressful enough, but doing it for multiple laps like these drivers do is on a whole nother level.
It really is, especially with the fact too that it's usually 5, 6, 7 rows deep. Just one slight amount of checkup in any line. And especially if you're in that outside line, you don't have much of an exit to be able to avoid being involved. A lot of times we'll see drivers as innocent bystanders because they don't have any area to maneuver with it being 3 wide. 3rd line foreman. We've been watching it there.
Not
Dalton,
a lot of
Causey, Wesley Schilling, and now Seminara jumps up to lead that group. Here comes Palmer in the 22. This is the big problem. When you have that 3rd line, is you have drivers that jump up there and try and help that momentum, try and help propel themselves to the front. Palmer, I think right there, did a textbook move up. You want to do it soon enough so that you don't stifle that momentum, but you want to also do it late enough that you don't get caught out and stuck in the middle 3 wide. So drivers have to be careful of the timing of when they jump out of line to be able to get the line that's moving. And as of right now, it looks like maybe that middle line is stalled out just, or make that outside line stalled out just the least little bit here is Sue, man. John Godfrey and Wiley Coate look a little loose there in that middle line. And look at this. Tim Knopfsker and JT Mayhew along with Josh Metallic, they're going to jump up to the middle groove. So we've got a lot of moving and shaking inside our top 10.
Yep. The middle lane actually stalled out the top lane. Took a lot of its momentum away.
Look at the moves up here in the top 5. Bob Dixon's going to get caught out by Jeremy Jeffries. DeSpirito showed the nose on McClure. McClure through the block. There's still 3 wide back there. Greg Palmer still leading that third lane. He's alongside of Godfrey in the middle. Bernie Mobbs on the bottom. Rodney Sullins in the 38 has made his way up into the top 10. Started in 23rd, and we saw him quite a ways back, having to slow his way through the second caution of the day. Richard Martin in the 43 started 35th here this evening. He's now up inside the top 10 as well there in that John Deere Chevrolet. One of those drivers coming into this race that's kind of down there in the must-win list.
Keeping an eye in this middle lane here. Chuck McClure leading it right there on the line. The bottom lane, though, isn't really making much. They're catching the 56 on the back straightaway here. He might have to go to the outside lane first of the lap cars here.
Jeff Crivello already a lap down, was on pit road about 3 laps ago. Now about to get put another lap down here. That'd be -2 for the State Farm Dodge, who has had some good runs here the last couple of weeks. Came into this race 18th in the point standings. At one point was actually up inside of the playoff grid. I believe that was 2 weeks ago, and we're going to drop back here, make sure everybody gets by the 56 safely, as that's in one of the sketchier areas of the racetrack there through the tri-oval. Like everybody, at least for the moment, is good. The middle line becomes the inside line rather becomes the middle line. The middle line becomes the outside line as they all jump to the top side on the 56.
Just like that, runs are dissolved. We should be about 10 laps maybe away from green flag pit stops.
10 to 12 laps away, depending on where you're situated in the field. Definitely at least 12 laps maximum for Chuck McClure, who's been out in front the entirety of this run so far. Craig Hagley in the 32, making a move up there to the top side. Didn't get the finish he was looking for at BSR last week. Dropped 4 spots in the standings to 11th, but right now still sitting in a playoff position. Should he remain inside the top 12 in overall standings by the conclusion of Talladega in 2 weeks' time. Trying to work with the 5 of Wiley Coate. With Donnie Garrett in the 77. Donnie ended up missing a week in the early portion of the season, and I thought he was going to have to win to make his way into the playoffs. Well, 3 races remaining here in the regular season, and he's got himself well-positioned 10th in points. So just keep that consistency up, and he'll be a contender for the championship in a few weeks' time.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's pushing Grant Wesley there in the 88. Very impressed as well with Wayne Pribnow here tonight. The 14 started up near the front based off of the random qualifying results. He was up in the top 5 in the first few laps of the race. He's drifted back, but still holding strong in the 13th position. So good job there by the Miller High Life Ford F-Series, running currently in the tire tracks of the Celsius Dodge of Bernie Mobbs. It looks like Grant Wesley wants to lead that third lane somewhere. He's going to pick up Jessica Shelton, Wiley Coate, and others. Let's see if the defending champion and former winner on the season can make something happen in lane 3.
Change up in the front here. They were on the outside lane, but about 4 or 5 trucks dove to the inside.
Joe DeSpirito now going to lead the outside line with Jeffries and Seminara and Ronnie Sullins. 4 trucks you mentioned are McClure, Knopfsker, JT Mayhew, and Josh Metallic, now hugging that yellow line through 1 and 2. Mentioned the fact that Jeremy Jeffries getting that win, did that make the other former winners sit up and take notice? Well, look at our top two. Chuck McClure, Tim Knopfsker, both former winners on the season. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe both those drivers won the first two races on the year. McClure, I know, won the season opener, and Knopfsker won race number 3. Ironically enough, both of those drivers' wins came right here at Talladega. Right side of your screen, you saw a third lane was forming. That was Craig Hagley, along with Ken Roberts, and that's Kelly Causey and Brian Schilling back there. Brian Schilling's been very consistent this year. Been keeping the pressure on Grant Wesley as far as that regular season points lead is concerned. But we haven't yet seen him make his way up inside the top 10 as, ooh, man. Rodney Sullins, Greg Palmer, both moving up high. Palmer wasn't clear, now he's clear. A lot more movement in the field here tonight, it certainly seems like. Drivers not content to ride. When they get a run, they're taking it.
Yeah, they're definitely going for it. It's like Dale Earnhardt Jr. said, if you're not taking a run, you're not trying, and that's not racing.
And do you think that tonight we're seeing a lot more of that? Because, first of all, it kind of seems like at Burt Screwdriver's Raceway, it's a little bit tougher to generate a run. But secondly, this is the third to last race on the regular season. Drivers are feeling the sense of urgency right now that they want to get those bonus points for winning during the regular season, even if they're positioned well inside the top 12 in points. Now you got only 3 trucks in that middle line. Here to Jeffries and Seminaire, they're in trouble. Now they're going to pick up Brian Schilling. Keep an eye on the lap ticker on the top right, or top left rather. Sorry, I'm dyslexic.
Happens all the time, Seth. Happens all the time.
About 4 laps away, roughly, from when these drivers would have to start thinking about making pit stops. Or no, you said 36, didn't you?
No, I said about 30. I said about 39, 38.
38. Okay, so yeah, so 4 laps away. Seeing more drivers duck down to that inside line. Seminara just jumped down there.
We're halfway through the race as well.
Seen it so many times here at Talladega and at Burt Screwdriver's Raceway, how pit road can play just as much of a factor in the outcome of the race as everything that takes place above that double yellow line. And a lot of times, incidents that take place down there on pit road, coming to pit road, coming off pit road, don't necessarily bring out a caution to save the drivers involved. We're pretty single filed up here at the front, top 6, top 7, all nose to tail.
Can confirm about 4 laps away from possible pit stops.
4 laps away. We'll see if these drivers can make it to that point. We got a second lane forming again. Rodney Sullins has picked up Jeremy Jeffries and Grant Wesley. They're trying to make something happen up here, trying to get the spots on track, hoping they'll translate to more spots on pit road. I think it's safe to say that Wesley Jeffries, Rodney Sullins, with them making the moves they're making right now, they're going to be part of the second group that hits pit road. It's going to be really difficult to try and make your way onto pit lane from the second line. And if you were planning on coming to pit road with Group 1, you probably would have stayed in line on the inside.
We'll see how quickly these cars start migrating down. You know, Seth, if this was you, think you'd talk a couple of people into coming down pit road a lap early than everybody else, just trying to wait and see if either a wreck happens coming to pit road that'll allow you to get all your spots back, or coming down a less busy pit road is always better.
If I could get enough to come down pit road with me, like say 4 or 5 other drivers, I think I definitely would do something like that. We've not seen that as often. Usually, I think the smallest group we see come to pit road is usually 8, 9, 10 drivers, which is still a somewhat smaller group than the 15 to 20 car fields we'll sometimes see hit pit road.
Well,
but
they're approaching lap cars here that I think could have just come out of pit road, and I'm seeing stuff light up, possibly coming down pit road this time.
Nate Balzer, Bob Dixon, Ron Hagelin, those drivers there on the back straightaway. Mike Mangialardi and also just made a pit stop. Let's see if we got any of our race leaders coming to pit road this time. As you mentioned, the radio's lighting up, the hands out the window. Lewis led the entirety of this run, so he'd be one of the first onto pit road, and here he comes. Knopfsker is in. Jeffries, John Godfrey. Ooh, no! Jeremy Jeffries saved it. Wow.
Wreck on the track, though. Wreck on the track. Caution is out.
And Roberts has gone around, and the yellow flag is waving. Third caution of the day was in the tri-oval. Looks like that's Mangialardi in the 029. And oh, they're still wrecking. Glenn Harris and Jeff Crivello getting together. Ron Hagelin. Oh, and there's more wrecking going on. Caution out. I believe that all the drivers that were on pit road had to pass through. They couldn't take service. The caution was already waving. There is damage on the rear end of Rodney Sullen's 38.
Yeah, actually, it was the 38 that started that wreck. I'm looking at it right now. He came up, I guess. I don't know if he thought if he wasn't going to pit or if it was a last-minute decision. Yeah, he hit the back of the one car and then just turned right up into the 32 and flipped over. That was a big-time accident.
Here's a look at it. Coming out of turn number 4. Rodney Sullins was running last time by in the 8th position. I think what happened there with Rodney Sullins, I don't think he was planning on pitting, and Jeremy Jeffries was very high on the racetrack when he was slowing for pit road.
I'm glad you specified that.
Okay.
Wow, that took you a minute to realize, too.
It did. I was a tad bit confused. Then Glenn Harris and Jeff Crivello come flying into here, and then another hit there from Crivello into Ron Hagelin. Let's take another look at this. I want to go to our helicopter cam. Now, obviously, the communications are there of what car is coming to pit road, but I don't think you can fault Rodney Sullins on this one, because watch when we show this here. Watch the one truck of Jeremy Jeffries. He's in the second lane right now. Still in the second lane, and then he's on the brakes in the middle line. Now, granted, Rodney Sullins would have hopefully known that the one was coming to pit road, but at the same time, that's still awfully high on the racetrack to be if you're coming to pit lane that time. Oh, man, Mark Paglia takes a hit there into Ron Hagelin. Mangialardi spins through the grass. We're going to try and drop back and find the 8 and the 56. Here they are. They were both running last trucks on the lead lap. Oh, no, Glenn Harris was. Crivello was a few laps down. And Harris gets on the brakes, seeing Ron Hagelin coming back up the track. He door bangs the 56. They both ricochet back down into the 111. And then there's the last hit there from Jeff Crivello, which has taken him out of this race. Well, we said pit road plays just as much of a factor as the racetrack itself. Case in point, right there.
Yeah, it seemed like these cars weren't exactly ready for green flag pit stops. That would have been what, their first attempt at green flag pit stops of the season?
No, they've made a few. Matter of fact, I believe the last time we were here at Talladega a couple of weeks ago, they made some green flag pit stops.
Was I not there for that? Because I don't remember that.
I'm pretty sure you were there.
Well, then I'm just as old as you are.
No, you're not. I'm 2 years older. So we're going to go back green. Not yet. I wondered if the lights were going to go out, but they're not going to go out just yet. Lucky Dog, under this caution, I think is going to go to... Well, I'm not certain at this point. Mike Mangialardi was a lap down, but he was involved in the incident. Ron Hagelin scored a lap down, but he was involved in the incident. Robbie Nices is staying out as if he might be taking the wave around. I'll have to wait and see about that. And the other lap machines on scoring right now are Nate Balser and Bob Dixon. I'm not exactly certain who the lucky dogs are going to be here under this caution period, or if we do have any waiver rounds. Brian Rawson in the 21 is the current race leader over Dave Melson, JT Mayhew, Brian Schilling, and Donnie Garrett. So looks like scoring's got to get itself updated. Everybody's got to figure out where they're at. Looks like there's your confirmation. Nate Balser, Bob Dixon going to be the free passes, and Robbie Nice will be taking the waiver round. So while they get everything figured out, we're going to step aside for another commercial break, and when we come back, we will be at 25 laps to go, I believe, when the green flag flies. Correction, 26 laps to go. When we get back under the green flag, you're not going to miss a thing. We're going side by side and getting a word from Ultimate Garage Floors. The following presentation of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series on the Flatout Racing Network is brought to you by Ultimate Garage Floors. Ultimate Garage Floors is very active in the garage remodeling community, staying current with the latest technologies and custom configurations so that we can bring you the highest quality installations. As a Northern Virginia Exposy flooring installer, we focus on garages and commercial flooring to perfect our craft and bring you high results. In a space that gets as much wear and tear as your garage, you want to be able to trust that the cabinets and flooring we install are ready to withstand against high traffic and regular use. That is why we include a lifetime warranty with our services so that you know we stand behind the quality of our work. To get started with a free consultation, call us at 540-931-9006 or visit us on the web at ultimategaragefloorsva.net. That's ultimategaragefloorsva.net. Green flag set to fly once again. Brian Rawson, Mark Martin Folger's throwback, going to be the one to lead us to green. It'll officially be 25 laps to go here at Talladega. Dave Melson, JT Mayhew, Brian Schilling, and Donnie Garrett. That is the top five as green flag waves, and Dave Melson was ready for that restart. He's going to jump ahead of the 21 who appeared, I don't know if he spun the tires, missed a shift, or just wasn't ready for the green. Nelson's going to be the race leader now, and Brian Schilling's going to challenge Rawson for second place. With the waiver rounds and lucky dogs we had, we've now got 33 drivers on the lead lap, 35 drivers still running. Ron Hagelin and Mike Mangialardi, the only drivers one lap down. If we were to get another caution and they were not involved, that would put all 35 drivers back on the lead lap.
Outside lane once again, prevailing right there in the middle of the first two white dotted lines there. The line to be. Now here comes the 32 in the back trying to make a third lane.
Nobody going with him. Greg Hagley, lonely man. Violin. He's going to the back. He'll fall
Like I
back
said,
to
play the
Terry.
world's smallest violin.
Yes. Got West Virginia sponsoring that number 32 Ford.
I didn't know a
probably
whole state could
feels.
sponsor somebody.
I didn't either, but probably feeling as lonely as one of those mountains on his truck. Now he's got Terry Bombard and Jeremy Jeffries helping him out. John Godfrey, Doug Cady started this race on the front row. And right now, the 007's running in 4th, and the 711 is running in 6th. They've done a good job of keeping their track position all night long.
Absolutely, they have been. I'm very surprised. You could possibly see that Napa truck in victory lane tonight.
I think it would be the first time ever. I don't think I'd even have to go back and check the stats. I think it'd be the first time ever that a Cadillac went to victory lane in a Tally Challenge race.
For real.
Ryan Schilling, we've seen him finish runner-up quite a few times here this season. Hasn't gotten that checkered flag just yet. Former champion of the series. He's up in 2nd place here again, behind the 038 of Dave Melson. Ooh, we were looking 4 wide back there in the tri-oval. I just saw Chuck McClure, Craig Hagley in that area. Now they've settled it out to double and 3 wide.
The 007 is thinking maybe inside, but decided to stay to the outside.
Also noticed a little side-by-side going on with the 31 of Bernie Mobbs behind him, so we should keep an eye on that. A couple of trucks with some side-by-side here tonight. Grant Wesley disappeared for a moment. 31 had side-by-side. There was another truck, I can't remember now who it was, but I saw they had a little bit of side-by-side warp. That's always scary when you're close quarter racing like they are here in Super Speedway racing at Talladega. Now we should mention that when we went back green, it was with 25 to go. There is no way any driver in the field can make it the rest of the way. If you run it completely out of fuel, Michael, these drivers would have to maybe make that final pit stop somewhere in the vicinity of 5 to 7 laps to go. Talk about a money stop.
Oh, yep, there's the 31 side by side there. And yes, it would be. If honestly, I would think about pitting with about 10 to go. You know, go in, take less fuel, get out, and hope that either a caution can bring you back up to the pack and it not be too late, because if these cars try to make that pit stop in the final 5 laps, they risk the race ending under yellow.
Here's the thing, too, that you kind of have to factor in, and it's going to play off of what you were just saying of the strategy of 10 to go. The way that the race works as far as how much fuel you take on, if you run a full 20-lap run, it's 2 cans of fuel. So you split that in half. 10 laps, you'd only have to take on a can of fuel. 5 laps, you'd have to take on a half can. Depending on when that final pit stop absolutely would have to be made, might not be able to come to pit road and take on a half can to make it the rest of the way. You might absolutely have to take on that full can. So I like your thought of coming to pit road at 10 to go, take on the half, or take on the 1 can right then and there when the window opens up, and that way if a caution comes out, you gain the track position when everybody else that was planning on coming down later for taking the gamble on the half can would then have to come to pit lane under caution.
Yeah, and think about it, these cars have to run them cars, if they have to run it dry just to make it to 5 to go. You know, caution comes out with 5 to go. Are you going to coast under yellow to try to make it to the checkered flag?
There's no way.
Exactly. So 10 to go would probably be the best bet.
That'd be roughly in the next 18 laps, or sorry, the next 8 laps rather, for these drivers. Let's see if anybody plays that strategy here, as we got an outside line forming. John Godfrey, Jessica Shelton, Greg Palmer. Is that Kelly Causey I see back there? Yes, it is. Buckshot, 4th in that outside line. Former winner this season. Brian Rawson, he did not get going on the restart as the race leader, but it's getting up to speed. He's holding court. 5th truck on that inside line. Now, when you're that top 3, top 4, do you jump up to pick up that outside line? Doug Cady's going to do that. Ooh, he might get taken 3. Godfrey's looking higher and higher. Oh no, Godfrey into JT Mayhew. Is the caution out? Oh, I think it might be now because Frank Hagley just got spun. Yep, yellow flag is out. We've got more trucks around here in the turn 1.
And that's honestly a product of trying to push it 3 wide and being forced to kind of slow down. Jessica Shelton had no chance to even slow. and ended up kind of turning JT, turning him down a little bit.
Milt Surratt in the 80 was collected up in this one. John Godfrey, who had been up inside the top 10 almost all day long, the pole sitter, goes around for our fourth caution of the day, I do believe. Yes, it is. And Michael, fuel strategy's out the window.
Yep.
We're within the window where these drivers could pit now, and they'd be good to go the rest of the way. Now it's what you got once we get back under green. Let's go back and take a look. We kind of saw the wreck as it happened in progress. This was a case of the blocks that we saw earlier. Continuing here, Doug Cady trying to get up in front of that outside line. Godfrey had the momentum, was looking to take Cady 3, and then watch here off this corner. Cady runs Godfrey out of room, Shelton into the back of the 7-Eleven, and then as some drivers were checking up, Milt Surratt got into the back of Craig Hagley, who then, Milt Surratt in turn, got spun off the nose of, I think that might have been Bob Seminara in the 712. We get closer to the end of the race. The aggression level picks up.
Well, that's going to come down to pit stops here. I definitely would be taking fuel only. No, that way at least there's not a chance of the pit crew messing something up with the tires or something.
Both John Godfrey and JT Mayhew losing valuable track position in that one. 338 of JT. Looks like he might have hit.
Shelton stayed out. But then again, that might have been that might have been put on her.
Yeah, I think that's the penalty system where you stay out and hit the second time around. Yep. See about this hit for JT Mayhew. Oh man, it looked like the impact was mostly with the rear of the car, or the rear of the truck. Man, heavy impact, left rear and left front for the Chips Ahoy Chevrolet. Pit stops ongoing. The drivers electing to stay out. And Donnie Garrett's pit crew gets it done. He's going to be the first one off pit road of the drivers that came to pit lane. Like Billy Elliser and Craig Hagley. Gonna stay out here and they'll pit the second time by. Same for Rodney Sullins. This is the caution Mike Mangialardi and Ron Hagelin wanted. This will put them back in the lead lap as they were the only two trucks off the lead lap. We'll have 35 drivers on the lead lap when we go back green. Take the opportunity here under this caution to bring you up to date on tonight's lap leaders. Chuck McClure, I don't think he's going to get challenged for the most laps led bonus point tonight. He was out in front for 18 laps so far. Dave Melson, 9 laps in the lead. 6 laps led for John Godfrey, the pole sitter. 5 for Joe DeSpirito. 4 laps led for Doug Cady. 3 laps led for Brian Rawson. Then 1 lap led apiece for our current race leader, Jessica Shelton, Jeremy Jeffries, Terry Bombard, Robbie Nices, and JT Mayhew. I think we'll see most of the drivers that stayed out on pit road this time, along with our 2 lucky dogs, and that should turn the race lead over potentially to Donnie Garrett. And as I say that, Greg Hagley is going to stay out in the 32 and get himself a bonus point. So when we go back green, it will be with less than 15 laps to go. Going to come down to the driver's guts, determination, aggression as to who's going to win this race, as pit road will no longer be a concern for these drivers here this evening. Who's going to prevail? We're going to be finding out in just a little bit. We're going to go side by side with another commercial break here from Ultimate Garage Flores and be back hopefully for the finish here at Talladega up next. following presentation of the Rolling Thunder Gaming Talladega Challenge Series on the Flatout Racing Network is brought to you by Ultimate Garage Floors. Ultimate Garage Floors is very active in the garage remodeling community, staying current with the latest technologies and custom configurations so that we can bring you the highest quality installations. As a Northern Virginia Exposy flooring installer, we focus on garages and commercial flooring to perfect our craft and bring you high results. In a space that gets as much wear and tear as your garage, you want to be able to trust that the cabinets and flooring we install are ready to withstand against high traffic and regular use. That is why we include a lifetime warranty with our services so that you know we stand behind the quality of our work. To get started with a free consultation, call us at 540-931-9006 or visit us on the web at ultimategaragefloorsva.net. That's ultimategaragefloorsva.net. Well, here we go. It's going to be officially 13 laps remaining here at Talladega. Find out who's going to be picking up the checkered flag here in race number 7 of season 59 of the Talladega Challenge Series. You saw with side-by-side, Ron Hagelin, Mike Mangialardi going around, getting their laps back. 35 drivers left to duke it out here. Everybody good to make it on fuel. Donnie Garrett gets us back underway.
These guys missed a great conversation while we were in commercial.
Well, we say great. They might be questioning our sanity.
True. We're going to see which line prevails. The inside lane, not exactly up to par, but we'll see if the 77 can clear the outside lane. And he tried. He really tried.
Not able to, though. Ryan Schilling was to the right rear quarter panel, and he's got the push from Doug Cady and Greg Palmer. Inside line gets a good run, though, going into 3. They're still dead even. As a little push up there by Dave Melson.
That's going to break up the outside lane a little bit, though. That's going to allow the 77 to get up in front.
Third line forming back there around the 25th position. Guess who? Grant Wesley.
Oh,
and now
boy.
a bunch of them. Wow.
Oh,
That was
gosh.
McClure, Jeffries, Causey, all had the same idea through the tri-oval.
Ooh, side by side right there. He's pinching. He's trying to get that side draft.
Here it's clear for the lead. Schilling. Now he's clear for second. Let's drop back to here because look at that middle line surge ahead with Joe DeSpirito and Jeremy Jeffries. McClure on the top, Metallic on the bottom.
Yeah, these cars are going to wreck again before we get to that checkered flag.
It certainly looks like it. They know that they don't have to come to pit road. Everything now takes place up here above the double yellow line.
Oh,
Doug Katie, that's really close right there as he was pinching down the 22 at the 17, looking to his outside. A little contact back even at the rear of this 3 wide between John Godfrey and Billy Elliser. They're beating and banging all the way through this pack.
11 left.
Oh, Katie into Kelly Causey up the track. Don't go 4. Oh, Ken Roberts gonna force his way up the middle.
Well, yeah, I was hoping the 007 wouldn't just dive back down into traffic, but he's got a clear spot now to duck back in line.
That could have been really, really bad, but fortunately we got the...
Oh, there we go.
It's the big one.
Oh, boy.
Pick a driver, see if they get through. My gosh.
Oh, the 7 is up and into the catch fence. The 38, Dave Nelson, is flipping.
You knew it was going to be huge because it was going
Shelton
into the entry of the corner, and they're still wrecking.
Jessica Shelton's involved. Ron Hagelin was flipping.
Barry Bombard, Wiley Coe, Tim Knopfsker.
Yeah. On the 7, the 007, who was having such a great day.
Bob Seminara, Dave Melson, all roof damage. That truck's basically done. There's the Smoking Katie. Oh, and they're wrecking coming back to the line. Ron Hagelin just got into Terry Bombard. Oh, and then he gets hit by Wayne Pribb now. It's the big one and the long one.
Oh, it was the 10 trying to go up, and then the 111 just got kind of clipped by somebody else.
Glenn Harris has got damage.
Can't tell
so much going on. Our camera people didn't know who to focus on. Cy Jones.
I saw Jessica Shelton involved too, but I don't know how much damage she got. Oh Lord, let's just watch this.
Robbie Nisus. Yeah, the list is too long to name off everybody that was involved. We're just gonna go back. We're gonna show replays, as many as we can.
Oh, she was actually doing good getting through that until the 7 car came flipping down the race. 007 came flipping down the racetrack, and the Monster Energy truck over here of Nathan Balsa just stuck on his side in the middle of turn 3. I don't know why I'm laughing, but it was a funny experience.
I saw a couple of trucks that were glitched together up against the outside wall. It looked like, all right, pick a driver, see if they get through or how they get involved, because just too many to name. This is where it starts.
Start with the 20. Right on board the 20.
Dave Melson comes down, gets clipped by the 21. My gosh. Josh Metallic was in it. We didn't have him on that list. Bernie Mobbs.
We need to just make a list of who wasn't involved in this.
It would be shorter. I think it'd be much shorter. On the right side of your screen, Nate Balser stuck on the passenger side. Watch this wild ride with the 007 of Doug Katie. Wrong place, wrong time. Had just been in the middle of that 4 wide situation. Bob Dixon was in it. Add him to that list. Little contact for JT Mayhew. There's Rodney Sullins going around the top side. He had roof damage, and he's gonna have some friends at the rear of the field that'll be just trying to limp it back to the checkered flag. Didn't see how Tim Knopfsker got involved. He was the, I believe, 6th truck on that inside line. I don't know if he maybe bumper grabs off the 21. Does he get a bump from Metallic? Yep, slight bump from the 39. I don't think we said Wiley Coates' name. He was in it. Then Nofsker, oh, right there, gets clipped last minute by the 5. It gets spun around.
Yeah, it was a melee.
It was mayhem. Trying to get cameras on everybody so we figure out how all drivers were involved. What about the 712?
The 7 had you're looking at this replay, the 7 had a full Ricky Craven moment.
Again, you just saw those couple of trucks darting to the inside, getting ready to spin out, going into the corner. You knew so many times the wrecks that go into the corner, those trucks are going to come back up the track. The track is going to be completely blockaded. And this is undoubtedly the biggest wreck we've had so far here tonight.
But the 712 really almost got through that too. Just a last minute, just
there were a couple of drivers that nearly got through and just got clipped at the last minute, or the hole that they were going for, the door closed at the last second. Find somebody that was able to sneak through. How about an onboard with the driver that was involved in the last caution? Gets this one, I think John Correct, there's the smoke. Oh, he gets involved too. Ty Jones in it. Glenn Harris in it. Milt Surratt, Bob Dixon, lot drivers back here. There's one truck that's upside down right there. Who's that? That's Brian Rawson. It's about another half dozen drivers we didn't have on our list that were involved in that. Well, there were a lot of drivers that got some pretty good extensive damage out of all of that, so it may be a rather short list of drivers that are going to be left in the conversation for this race win, and I believe, not 100%, we'll have to wait and see about when the lights go on the pace truck, but we're getting close to the point, Michael, where the next caution could very well end the race, because lights are still on, and we're about to put lap 60 on the board.
Yeah, so the next flag after this green flag will more than likely end the race.
Ryan Schilling is going to be the race leader. Ryan coming into this race second in the point standings. And if you look at his finishes this season, 6 starts. He's got 2 finishes outside of the top 10. But of the 4 finishes he had inside of the top 10, no worse finish than 4th place. Coming off a 3rd place run from last week at Burt Screwdrivers Raceway. And only 25 points behind Grant Wesley for the overall points lead. Grant's going to be restarting in the 8th position. Look at the former winners we've got up here. They're here now. We mentioned about the fact of, with Jeremy Jeffries getting his 2nd win, that we would see maybe some of the other former winners try and get up here and counter that with their 2nd win of the season. You got McClure in 2nd, Kelly Causey right behind him in 4th, and Grant Wesley in the 8th position. We'll see if they're able to double down, but look at some of these other first-time winner hopefuls. You got Donnie Garrett and Brian Schilling on the inside of rows 1 and 2. Joe DeSpirito in the 24, lined up there 3rd on the outside line, looking for his first win on the season. Greg Palmer, I believe, is looking for the first win of his Tally Challenge career, and he's going to restart in the 5th position. Been a winless spell for Ken Roberts, who's looking for, I think it's his 2nd career victory. He's going to restart in 9th. Top 10 is going to be completed by Richard Martin, who is in a must-win situation to get himself up into the top 20 in the point standings and have a shot of advancing into the postseason.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this finish and how it's going to go.
Remember Mike Mangialardi got the lucky dog under the last caution?
Yeah.
He's restarting 13th. How about that?
Well, he missed a big wreck.
He did. Missed the big wreck while on the lead lap, and he's got good track position here for what could potentially be, well, I think it's safe to say will potentially, well, no, I'm not certain,
No,
100% certain yet.
If they get a caution right off the bat,
Yeah.
it'll get a restart, but
it would have to be, I think, within the next 2 laps, as we do have one driver off the lead lap, that being Brian Rawson, so add tech on that extra lap if we were to have a caution. Green flag back in the air. Schilling immediately jumps up to the middle lane there in front of Chuck McClure. Didn't even wait until off of turn number 2. We saw a lot of blocking in the first 60 laps of this race, Michael. I think we're about to see a lot more here in the closing stages.
absolutely. It's about to ramp up.
And now you've got the who's who. Everybody trying to guess who in front of them's got damage, who's off the pace, who's fast enough to be able to work with their mid-pack to rear of the field. So a lot of moving around from top to bottom. Everybody trying to find their dancing partners. McClure clear for the top line in first and second. Causey trying to clear for third. I believe he now is clear of the nose of Donnie Garrett. Third line trying to form back there with Bernie Mobbs and Richard Martin. That's back around the 10th position. How long do you wait is the big question, because we've seen so many times a driver wait too long to make a move. The caution comes out. They don't have enough momentum, not enough time to be able to catch the race leader out, to make a pass for the lead, potentially the race win, and the race ends under yellow. When does Chuck McClure make the move here? Because this time by, we are at the point of no return. Caution comes out, race is over. We'll give the usual disclaimer. We will stay up at the front, watch the race back to the caution, and any incidents we have to look at will be looked at either during the caution laps or post-race. Top 6, now make it 5 single file as Ken Roberts jumps to the bottom with Craig Hagley. Side by side for 5th between the 55 and the 88. Now Grant jumps down to the bottom. Defending champion, former winner on the season.
Trying to get the
See
momentum.
if he can lead that low line.
We'll see if the 17 ducks to the inside too, if he notices the 88 getting a run. Yep, and look, they're both going to go to the inside.
Donnie Garrett looked like he wanted to take it 3 wide. DeSpirito almost looked like he wanted to go with him, but they stay in line with Kelly Causey. Look at the run that middle line's getting as there's distance from the 17 back to the 88. That inside line is not tucked up. Schilling jumps up to the top to block the momentum of Causey. 3 to go.
Not a lot of cars on the outside. We'll see if it's still going to stay good.
Kelly Causey can get Brian Schilling pushed clear and clear himself at the 17. Does he jump to the bottom, or does he stay with the 24 of DeSpirito in that middle lane?
He'd have to do it. He'd had to do it like right now. He's clear.
Next time by, 2 laps to go. Can we finish this race under green? Looks like we've got about 20 trucks up in this lead group. Back to JT Mayhew. Little over 5 miles left to go here in race number 7. Brian Schilling looking for his first win on the season. 4 finishes inside of the top 5. 3 finishes up in the podium this year. Big block further back there. Richard Martin on Mike Mangialardi. They keep it together though. Looks like that inside line is,
really.
yeah, the inside line's falling back. McClure's back to 6th place with Jeremy Jefferson. They're catching a slow truck. Doug Cady on the inside line. They're all gonna get by him, but he was way off the pace. This time by, white flags in the air. All bets are off. You get back to the start-finish line. Brian Schilling, Kelly Causey, Joe DeSpirito, Donnie Garrett, Greg Palmer. Who's bringing home the trophy? Palmer jumps to the bottom. Garrett jumps to the bottom.
Causey stayed to the outside. Causey should have went to the inside. He'd have had a good run.
Jeremy Jeffrey stayed up top, so the 77 to 22 are caught on the inside line with no drafting help. Back in the back. Chuck McClure up and over. Grant Wesley up and over.
It doesn't matter now.
Doesn't matter. You got 2 more corners, the long tri-oval to make a move on Brian Schilling, who's going to try and make that rear bumper as wide as he can. Jeremy Jeffries to the bottom on Joe DeSpirito. Where does Causey go? He looks low. He's there. Can he get the push from Jeremy Jeffries? It's going to be close. It's going to be really close.
Oh,
Causey got him. Kelly Causey got him.
He got it by 4/1000th of a second.
Wow. If he had 1 foot less, I don't think he would have gotten Brian Schilling. What a move by Kelly Causey. And Causey's gonna be the 2nd multi-time winner on the season. And he got pushed there by the 1st multi-time winner on the season, Jeremy Jeffries. Well, this time I'll get it right. 3rd career win for Kelly Causey in the RTG Talladega Challenge. I got it wrong the last time. I said it was his 1st win, but he had a previous victory a couple of seasons ago in the regular season finale. But 2nd win on the year, 3rd win of his Tally Challenge career. And Buckshot's gonna get to do some burnouts here at Talladega. Let me double check. Yes, it's actually back-to-back victories here at Dega for Causey. He won 2 weeks ago at this very racetrack.
Yep. I think he's got the strategy down.
He does. Easily closest finish on the season. 4/1000ths of a second. Causey over Brian Schilling. And guess how many laps Kelly Causey led tonight?
1.
Just 1.
The most important one.
The only one that counts at the end of the day. Kelly came into this race 13th in points, so he would have gotten in via his victory. This 2nd win is obviously locked him into the playoffs, but also I think has moved him up into the top 12 in points heading into Burt Screwdrivers Raceway next week. And it's the 2nd time here at Talladega that the Bama Buggies truck goes to victory lane, the hometown sponsor. Let's take a look at the finishing results. Then we'll go back during the post-race wind-down and interviews and take a look at the incident that occurred involving a couple of our former winners from this season, Chuck McClure and points leader Grant Wesley. But another podium finish for Brian Schilling. Another great run for Jeremy Jeffries as well, who his shove was what got Kelly Causey that victory. Richard Martin and Joe DeSpirito going to be the top 5. Donnie Garrett in 6th. Greg Palmer 7th. Ken Roberts, Tim Knopfsker, and Billy Elliser in the 10th position. A late charge up there into the top 10. Elliser started this race from 3rd and nabs a top 10 finish this evening. Metallic in 11th. Bob Seminara 12th. John Godfrey, good comeback after his spin. Actually, he and JT Mayhew both were involved in that incident out of the tri-oval. I believe it was the 4th caution of the evening, I'm sorry. They battled back for 13th and 14th. Craig Hagley in 15th. Shelton, Mangialardi, Mobbs, Pribnow, and Surratt. That was the top 20. And then everybody on back, 21st on back. These were all drivers that were just trying to survive, had gotten pretty big damage from the big one we had for caution number 5. Coates, Sullins, Dysis, Paglia, Bombard, Hagelin, and Glenn Harris. You see make that Grant Wesley finish 23rd and Chuck McClure 26th. They were involved in that last caution during the point of no return. 3 drivers, 1 lap down. Cy Jones, Doug Cady, Brian Rawson. And then out of the race after 6 cautions this evening, Dave Melson, Nathan Balser, Bob Dixon, Jeff Crivello, Jason Scheck, Andrew All, and Dante Ricky. All and Ricky didn't even get past the 2nd corner on the 1st lap here tonight at Talladega. What do you say, Michael? We talked to some of our podium finishers here tonight. Let's kick things off with the guy that brings it home 3rd place. Was the only 2-time winner coming into tonight. Now we'll be tied with 2 wins apiece with Kelly Causey. Let's see if we could dial up Jeremy Jeffries. Hey, Jeremy, Michael and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
I do. How you guys doing?
Well, I'll tell you what, came into tonight a lot of momentum, two-time winner. We were saying keep an eye on that one truck because he doesn't have a lot to lose here tonight, looking to get some more of those bonus points. Had a shot there at the end, made that move to the inside line. Did you just need a little bit more of a push so that way you were able to be to the inside of the 00? Might have had something for the 4, or when Kelly jumped down, were you just committed to trying to push him back to the line?
Once Kelly was down there, it was pretty much I was going to try to help push him, see if we could get at least get me the best finish possible. I was not going to win at that point, but congrats to him. Great move.
From second win on the season to third today, you're just keeping steady with the consistency here. You're keeping your eye on for the playoff spots here. What's your mindset going into these last couple of races before the playoffs start?
Well, I've got definitely got the momentum and got a little help. I think this race with Grant getting wrecked there at the end, so it's going to help close up the overall points a little bit. So I guess we're just gonna see what next week brings. I was actually more focused on beating the 31 tonight in the bracket. That was my focus.
Yeah, we tend to forget a little bit sometimes about that bracket series up here. We announce it at the beginning of the race, but don't really keep track of it during the race. You guys have that seems at the forefront of your mind the entirety of these events. But in position to be able to pick up the victory here tonight with two races still to go, is it still that same mentality of try and get up to the front, try and get maybe another victory before the conclusion of the season, or are you fine with these top 3, top 5 finishes in the attempt to try and get that overall championship for the regular season?
I'll definitely try for the win if it's there, but if not, get top 5. I'll take it any day of the week.
Well, third place here this evening. Congratulations on yet another great run. We're not only seeing the race winning capability out of this number 1 truck, but the consistency also when it matters the most down this home stretch in preparation for that championship battle in the playoffs. Before we let you go, Jeremy, the floor is yours for thank you, sponsors, and shout outs.
All right, thank you to FRN putting these broadcasts on. Love it. Sean and Bones, all the staff here at RTG, thank you. Giving us a great place to run. My XFM teammates, all the drivers out there, just make this a blast. My family, my friends, and everybody watching.
Jeremy Jeffries brings it home third place here tonight, following up his second win last week. He'll look to continue this consistency as we head back to Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway next Thursday night. Good luck.
Thank you.
See if we can get our second place finishers. Apologies, we were going to go back and show you the footage of what brought out the last caution and a slow-mo of the photo finish, but our feed went down, so unfortunately we're not able to give you that footage. But let's see if we can get in touch with Brian Schilling. Hey, Brian, Michael, it's Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
Yeah, what's going on?
Getting to the point now, I think we're going to just start calling you Mr. Consistency. I mean, we just keep seeing you week after week up inside of the top 5, top 3, tonight top 2. But you almost got that victory. You've been so close 3 or 4 times this season. Came down to 4/1000ths of a second. Was there any more you could have done to hold up the momentum of that inside line of the 00?
Um, I mean, I could have gotten his door a little more, but the same regard. I respect Kelly. He's a great guy, great racer. I'm not going to endanger, both of our races just for a win. So I could have done a little more, but I'm at the end of the day, second place is nothing to be ashamed of.
I mean, it was a heck of a race out there. You're up at the front there at the end, everything, just the whole strategy. Was it like making that round of green flag pit stops and then that immediately turned into a caution?
Well, actually, thankfully, I could not get up through the field at all. I just kept getting shuffled back. So I wasn't on pit road yet, so I was able to pull it back out on the track and basically just keep rolling. So that actually got me up to the front, and so that worked out great for me. I know it hurt a lot of other people though.
Now, as we've got only 2 more races here in the regular season before the playoff grid is put together, you're pretty well situated. Very unlikely mathematically you're going to fall outside of the top 12 in the point standings. I know you would love to have a victory before we end up beginning the postseason, but with what we saw here tonight, we saw a lot more three-wide racing. We saw a lot more moving around from line to line, and we saw, it seemed, especially in the early portion of the race, a lot more blocking. Are you starting as a driver to get a sense of drivers' urgency to get themselves positioned to try and get either into a playoff spot, or if they're right on that cut line, to maintain the playoff spot? Is there a sense of that in the field this early on at this point in time, or do you think maybe not feeling that we're gonna be feeling that next week, or especially in the finale?
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to see things ramp up a little bit. I mean, I actually I was making some moves that I don't feel like I normally would do. So, even though I'm good on points, I'm still gonna take calculated chances.
Well, Brian, another great run for you here tonight. Point standings are going to get closed up a little bit, I think, for that points lead. We saw Grant Wesley was involved in that last lap incident. He had 25 points between yourself and Grant coming into tonight. Be interesting to see what that gap looks like heading into BSR next week. Could be a pretty close battle for that regular season championship with 2 races remaining. But before we let you go, we're going to give you the opportunity. Thanks to sponsors. Do some shout outs.
Well, first of all, congrats to Kelly Causey, Buckshot. Great win. I have the utmost respect for him. Great guy. Always a pleasure to race around. Thank you to the owners, Sean Prime, David Cannon, Josh, Tim, Wiley, Jason, all your hard work on Thursdays. And, as usual, thank you everybody for showing up and putting on a great show. And thank you for putting on a great show for the broadcast.
That's Brian Schilling, second place here tonight at Talladega. Next week, when we get to Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway, he'll look for that one position better as he's still looking for his first win on the season. Congrats on the great run. Best of luck next week.
Thanks, guys.
Do a little bit of house cleaning here before we bring in Kelly Causey, our race winner. This was the closest finish on the season. Points are in. 25 points has been whittled down to 3 points between Grant and Brian heading into next week. And for the Tally Challenge Bracket Series, Jeremy Jeffries moves on over Bernie Mobbs. Joe DeSpiritu moves on over Dave Melson. Brian Schilling, who we just talked to, he moves on over Jessica Shelton. And Grant Wesley, Chuck McClure, the 2 drivers that we saw get together on that final lap, they were going up against each other in the bracket series. I think it was 2 positions. Grant Wesley finished up on Chuck McClure, and
irony.
so Grant is moving on to the next round. That, man, do you think those 2 knew they were going up against each other in the bracket series?
Probably. But
Wow.
He could have passed it.
My goodness. Well, let's see if we can go down and dial up tonight's race winner, 2-time winner on the season, Kelly Causey. Hey, Kelly, it's Michael and Seth up here in the FRM booth. You got us?
I sure do, man.
Well, I called it right tonight. Career win number 3, second on the season. And what a move out of turn 4 through the tri-oval. Just enough space to get to the start-finish line to edge out Brian Schilling for that victory. Did you have to check the F2? Did you know you got him there, or were you not sure?
Oh, I had no idea when I went across the line because I had to look up and see the F2 to see it. And it actually had him, you know how it delays just a minute. So when I looked up, it had him as 1 still, and then it switched. So, and I was very happy about it. But I was staying with Brian. We, stayed with him that whole time pretty much after that last caution. And I was sitting there and I was going, well, I might just stay right here with him but then Jeremy was coming. I said, well, I better take a chance. And I went on down there and Jeremy gave that last little nudge that put me over the top. So I appreciate him doing that for me.
Yeah, it was a really, really good race out there. I mean, it was incredible to watch, just that run to the finish. Just tell us about those last couple of laps.
Well, I was there with Sheila. I wanted to be in that. You want to be in that second groove. There's a lot of times you want to get low, but there weren't enough numbers down there at the bottom. So I was just going to stay with him. Once he came back up, him and Chuck went down low, and then he decided to come back up. And it looked like we had numbers from what I could tell my rear mirrors. So I just said, well, I'm going to stay here with him and just keep rolling with him. And I was glad he didn't. I was really thinking he was going to go back to the low because the one thing that helped us was the fact that the third line never did really form. And a lot of times you need to where I was sitting second in that line, it could have been ugly if that third line would ever come, but it just never did, and it happened to be at the right spot, and had that opportunity to get that last little dive in there to get underneath him and get to the victory. He beat me the other night, pretty much a similar situation, so I was happy about it. He's a real good racer, that's for sure.
We've seen a couple of times this season drivers not get the benefit of the qualifying draw, but still be able to bring it home P1 to the checkered flag. 39 drivers took the green flag tonight, and you rolled off the grid from 37th. We talked just moments ago with Brian Schilling. He said it felt like tonight it was really difficult to cut your way up to the front of the field. Did you feel that same thing?
Yeah, what happened was, a lot of times, Seth, that third line don't get to going here at this track, and there were several times that you got to about the fifth spot, and either somebody jumped up there late or jumped up in front of you and really wouldn't keep it down low enough in that third line. If you drift high in the corners in the third line, it really doesn't go. And so it was pretty much every night that third line would go, and then all of a sudden it would just stop. Somebody jump out, whatever, late, would stop the momentum. So it was really tough. And I, getting up there was, I had to do it by pieces, to be honest with you. Get up 5 spots here, and then get a caution come out, and then try to work 5 more. So it was tough getting up there.
Now, I know there's still a lot of races left to go. We still got 2 races here in the regular season. We got the 6-race playoffs with 3 rounds coming up. But first time in your career that you're a multi-time winner here in the Tally Challenge. Are you starting to get a sense that maybe this might be the year that you could be hoisting that championship trophy?
You never know. I'm still not. I think I'm in the top 10. I'm not sure. So, I've had a couple, bad races too, mixed in there with those 2 wins. But on any given night, it's anybody's race. There's a lot of great drivers, and to win twice, I just can't believe it. To be honest with the caliber of drivers that are here, but you know, we'll do our best to hopefully get in there. We've kind of worked my way into points last 2 years, I guess it was, but I'm actually might not be here next week, so that's the thing that might be a monkey wrench into it. But hopefully, I'll be still in the top 20 if I don't make it.
Well, a multi-time winner here in season 59, closest finish of the season so far, and back-to-back wins at Talladega in the last 3 weeks. Congratulations on a job well done. Before we let you get back to your celebrating, the floor is yours for Victory Lane. Thank you, sponsors and shout-outs.
Well, I like to thank my mom. She watches every night. And she's already texted me. She's really excited about it. So, but and also to the one thing I didn't get to do was I run with a few guys. Try to run as many I can, and didn't hook up too much. But all my teammates that I have, and Rodney Sullins, I appreciate his painting my truck, the Bama Buggage truck. It's a real nice truck. And on a side note, I had to make the decision today to put my dog down that I've had a long time. Was this rescue dog that I had, and I'm gonna be putting him down in the morning. So I'm gonna dedicate this victory to Pip, my little Dotson that I have. So anyway, I know we got a lot of dog lovers out there, and they're part of the family, and it's hate to. But it's time to go when they're really hurting. So anyway, I want to dedicate this victory to Pip.
Got a couple of dog lovers up here in the booth. Sorry to hear about that news, but congratulations, though, on that victory here tonight. Going to be a lot of fun to see what you're able to do here down this home stretch. Maybe get another one and rack up some more bonus points before the postseason begins.
Yeah, I thank you guys. Y'all do a great job.
Billy Causey, your winner here tonight. We were running the whole streak thing, Michael, for the first 5 races, five races, 5 different winners. I think we're starting a new streak. We've now had back-to-back races where we've got multi-time winners now. So, looking in the direction of Chuck McClure or Grant Wesley or Tim Nofsker. I mean, do we
Yeah.
go 3 for 3 on multi-time winners next week?
I don't know. It's like I said. It's like I said at the beginning of this. You don't really know. It's hard to tell. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
Going to also be interesting with 2 races left. There are some interesting names hovering around that 12th position in the point standings. Drivers that have not won yet this season that are looking pretty good, that they may point their way into the playoffs. I'm looking at drivers like Brian Schilling, as we've seen the consistency out of him. JT Mayhew, still 4th in points after the dust settles. Josh Metallic, 6th. Bernie Mobb, 7th. Bob Seminara 8th, Donnie Garrett in 9th. Causey actually moves up into 10th place with his win tonight. Hagley still hanging on in 11th. Our season opener winner, Chuck McClure, drops down to 12th, but then you've got these drivers just underneath that cut line. Jessica Shelton, Rodney Sellens, Joe DeSpirito, Dave Melson, Terry Bombard, Greg Palmer. These drivers are within 15 points of the 12th in the standings cut line. It is going to be super, super close here down this home stretch with 2 races remaining. You got to start making alliances now. Got to start finding dancing partners because the racing is close. The points are close. There is, you said this in the midway portion of the race, it counts here heading into these final 2 races. No room for error. You have to execute.
Yes, you do. And it's going to be interesting to watch.
It definitely is. Well, thank you all for tuning into our coverage here tonight. Closest finish of the season so far, Kelly Causey by 4/1000ths of a second picks up his second victory on the season. Next week, the drivers head for the final time in the regular season to Burnt Screwdrivers Raceway. Be sure to join us for that one next Thursday night, green flag at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Who's going to get another checkered flag here in season 59? We'll have to wait and see. But for Michael Norman, I'm Seth Cole. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of FRN, the Flatout Racing Network.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of Flatout Racing Network and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Flatout Racing Network and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. Flatout Racing Network would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.